Why do we love superhero movies? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast.
I've spent the last 20 years studying, teaching, and coaching people to find their greatness and take their lives to the next level. Along the way, it's become evident that emotions are at the root of everybody's successes and failures. Worry and fear are the enemies, and it's time to forge the armor and earn the tools to overcome the two things that could single-handedly destroy your future. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm a life coach, a peak performance trainer, and I'm the emotions guy. It's time to take back control of how you feel, control of how you act, and control of how you experience life. It's time to become a lifer, a new breed of overachiever focused on living every minute to its fullest. We are responsible for how we feel, and no one and no thing can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and emotional education and intelligence is the key. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life.
What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. Thank you for joining me today because we're going to talk about superhero movies, your favorite and mine. I better tell my oldest daughter to tune into this episode because she loves Marvel. She loves talking about superheroes, superhero movies. In fact, she has a deep love for Marvel. She's going to kill me, but that's okay. Here's the thing. Why do we love superhero movies? Well, there's a lot of reasons why, but let's dig down to the roots of it. How fun is it when you walk out of the theater and it's like, man, wish I could swing from one building to the next, or holy cow, if I could just shoot lasers out of my eyes, right? Oh man, that would be amazing if I could fly. Right? Or how about if I could like walk through walls? That would be amazing, right? Or if I had like a superhero suit of armor, nobody could hurt me. You could shoot gun bullets at me and you could do whatever. And I was like invincible, right? Or if I was like Incredible Hulk and I was, well, maybe the green part isn't good, but I was huge and invincible, right? These are all cool ideas and cool things to have as superpowers. And so we walk out of these movies that have these great stories and these hero's journey stories about these superheroes. And usually it's about their fall from grace. Oftentimes it's about these superheroes finding their kryptonite and then overcoming it. The funny thing about it is that they almost all come pre-baked with these superheroes, and sometimes we get to see their origin stories and where they get it from. But in so many instances, take like Superman, for instance, he had these superpowers, and then it was like, yeah, okay, you're a superhero. Aren't you lucky? Wow, you can fly. Isn't that great? But then all of a sudden, his kryptonite was introduced into the story. And with his kryptonite, all of a sudden he had no powers. And all of a sudden we got to feel like Superman was one of us. And so what happened? He went on this journey to find out what his superpower was. And it wasn't that he could fly, and it wasn't that he was the strongest, and it wasn't that he could fly around the earth so fast that he could make the earth turn the other direction and turn back time. It wasn't any of those things. It was that he overcame. Yeah, that. It was that he was able to overcome his kryptonite. It was that he was able to dig deep and find that thing within him that made him unique and special. It was his superpower, and it wasn't that he could fly, and it wasn't that he could see through buildings, and it wasn't the lasers. Those were all really great to have. Those were all really cool skills. Lucky him. But the thing that made him so great was that he overcame the challenge of the kryptonite. He became something more. He became a greater version of himself. And you know what? If you look through all of the superhero stories, isn't this the case? Isn't this the truth about all of the superheroes? Is that they overcame their own individual kryptonite. They all had to go on a journey to figure out who they were and what they were going to have to become in order to change the world. This is why we love superhero movies. Now, what's the point? Why am I talking about this today? It's because I know and I believe with all my heart and soul that there is not a person that I can't find their superpower for. That includes you. There is something in you, and you may have some cool skills, and you may have found some skills along the way that are pretty incredible. But there's probably a superpower deep down inside. There's probably something in you that you can use to change the world. And why is that important? Well, first we got to change us. First, we've got to transform. And then we can start to work on making this world a better place, but not because we're going to force somebody else to, not because we can determine what they think, not because we are going to do it for them, but because we are going to do it to ourselves. We are going to be the best example we can be in the area that we are the superhero. And you might have some great skills. You might be a former professional football player. You might have won a 2 Comma Club award. You might have made billions of dollars, and you still might not have found your superpower. You know it, and I know it. Here's the thing. There's something in you, and there's always been that something in you. And maybe you have been one of those lucky enough and maybe privy enough to go after that personal legend, that thing that's calling your name. And maybe you jumped on the opportunity when it arose. And you took the bull by the horns and you rode it out, and you have been living your personal legend. And I hope that's the case. And I would love to hear from you so we could celebrate your success. But for those of you that are still searching for your superpower, for your thing, you've got to understand there is more inside of you. It doesn't matter what success you've reached thus far. I danced professionally on the ballroom circuit, and I worked my tail off from the age of 5 years old until I retired from competing, until I was a judge on the circuit. And each step of the way, I pushed as hard as I could, pushed to achieve that next thing, to take myself to the next level. And you know what? I found myself judging a competition and thinking to myself, holy cow, this is not all I'm made of. This is not everything I have. This isn't everything I can give. This is not the full representation of who I am and what I can do. And the journey was just beginning, even though I went through a whole professional career of being an athlete and an artist. There was something more. There was a superpower inside of me that needed to come out and that I needed to share and be able to utilize and maximize to help others be able to do it. And you know what? Just like with dance, and I taught dance for a lot of years, coached a lot of champions. There was never a person I couldn't teach to dance. And there has never been a person I haven't been able to find their superpower. Guys, you have something in you. You have a special element. You have a combination of things through your experiences and in your world that you and only you can bring to this planet. It's your journey. It's your special thing. And I don't know what it is. I'd love to find out. If you've had a hard time figuring this out, if you have thought about this and gone, you know what, I can't think of it, I don't know what it is, then we need to chat. You can find a way to do that by going over to magicforlife.com. Maybe go check out our Facebook group on Facebook, Magic for Life. And you need to find a way to be able to chat with me. Because we can find your superpower. We can bring your thing out and we can actually turn that into a business or morph your business so that it supports your thing. Because remember, I'm after magic for life. Not just for business, for life, for both. Because for most of us as entrepreneurs, life is business. It's what we do. We're finding a way to solve problems and change the world. And those are epic things. But it's what we're here for. And if you're listening to this, it's a good possibility that that's what you're here for too. And if you're not an entrepreneur and you happened onto this episode, it's all right. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, and this still applies to you. You still have a superpower, and you could still use it for good. You still have that special thing inside of you, and maybe that personal legend is calling you. And maybe it is your thing to go in and work in a scenario where you can utilize your superpowers for an entrepreneur or for a company or for a business. That's great. But it is time. It's time to find that superpower, and it's time to understand that you have it inside of you, and it is amazing, and it is time for it to come out. You need not waste another moment. And from this point forward, every single time you go into one of those superhero movies, you're going to think of this. You're going to think of the fact that you have it in you, and you're going to understand more clearly than ever that you need to take action because the world is calling. And only you have your special sauce, your special ingredient, your special thing that you can do because of your experiences that you've had uniquely that nobody else has ever had, that particular combination of your life experiences and your knowledge and your skill set and your talents. And it's time for us to dig those out and use them for something amazing. I look forward to hearing from you. If you want to jump the line and you want to get right to us and see if you can jump right in, send us an email at info@magicforlife and say, hey, I'm in. I need to find my superpower now. We want to hear from you. We'll see if we're a good fit. If I can help you, great. If I can't, I'll help you find somebody that can. But you know what? If you know somebody that needs to hear this episode today, please share it with them. Share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, wherever you need to. #MagicForLife. We want to hear from you. Don't forget, you've got a superpower inside of you, and it's time to bring it out. We'll see you on the next episode.
Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. All emotions are a choice. Sometimes doing our emotions doesn't seem like it's our choice, but it is. You have control. You are the captain of your ship, and you must learn how to be the best captain you can be. Let me show you how. Pick up your free copy of my new book, Every Minute, at everyminutebook.com.